All right, guys, welcome back to Halcyon Days, the estate sale journey and beyond. This is our third episode. How are you today, Josh?
I'm doing good, George. Doing good.
Doing good. I'm good too. Thanks for asking.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, good. I got some cool information that I researched really quickly before we head into the subject at hand. We are officially now an international
National.
podcast. International. We have a listener from Belgium, which is pretty
One.
cool. Yeah. Hey, it's international. And then we also spread out to California. So if you're listening in California,
Uh,
we're talking about you because there's one.
oh, do we still have the person in Kansas?
Well, the listener doesn't disappear; it still listened, so that doesn't change. It
No,
doesn't
but
tell me how many
when you
times.
pulled
It
the,
just tells me how many unique.
it was
So
probably a person going from Kansas to California from Pennsylvania.
potentially, potentially, yeah,
But it counts. But it
yeah,
counts.
yeah. But I don't think that's what it was. But anyway, so they found us, they listened to us, and that's pretty cool. And that's just the podcast. For YouTube, I'm just gonna give you the percentage growth because because it sounds better. So we had a 33% growth in viewership on YouTube, which is pretty cool. You know, we'll spare you the details of the actual numbers. And as of right now, we have 1,018 subscribers on TikTok. So we're pretty much TikTok famous.
Nice.
So so there's that.
Hashtag life
And
goals.
so what are we going to be talking about today, Josh, on today's podcast?
Um, I figured we would talk a little bit about. I guess our episode name is Mastering Social Media for Estate Sales. So I figured we would talk about social media today.
I guess, huh? Yeah,
I
that'd
figured
be.
I thought it'd be a good topic. I think social media can be a little overwhelming, and I think it's good to talk about it
Oh, for sure.
for
Um,
sure for sure.
that's gonna be our tagline. We're gonna need to make shirts that say for sure, for sure. So, um, so I mean, I think for us, I do a lot of the social media work, but I mean,
The
you
majority.
you have the input still. So I think for like our brief overview of why it's important, I think people need to understand that as an estate sale company, your demographic is split, right? Like and we talked about it a little bit on the first episode. We have customers, we have clients. So social media as a whole, we got to try to hit everybody. And the customer base is really popular in things like TikTok. There's a lot of videos on people going to estate sales with great finds and things like that. So that's kind of like part of what we're talking about here. So there's going to be all different things, but that's kind of the split is kind of important.
Yeah.
So for the demographics, why do you think we would do something like Facebook, Josh?
Well, I mean, like, I think just to take a step back, I think if you're trying to do any type of business in today's society, social media is such like a big part of any type of growth you're gonna want to see because it's the fastest way now to get whatever your message is or whatever it is that you're trying to sell out there, right? Um, so in terms of like utilizing social media, it's trying to figure out where is your target audience, what social media platforms are they using, and then figuring out how to utilize those to grow your business, right? And you definitely like, and it's kind of like weird in a sense because I am not good at social media at all. Like at one point I deleted my Facebook, which you got mighty offended at because you thought I unfriended you. um
That's not true.
yeah, it is.
But
It happened.
no, you came back to Facebook and you didn't add me. That's what happened.
Same thing.
Not
I know,
relevant to our business at all.
I know. Marissa got real mad because she's like, "Why are we not married anymore on Facebook?" And I was like, "We're still married in real life, so why does it matter?"
Yeah, good job.
Yeah. Fastest way to get out of a marriage, just
I mean, it's a good topic. It's the second week in a row we talked about you getting out of your marriage.
no. I would be lost without her. All right.
Uh,
So your question was again about Facebook.
This is a smooth podcast. Um,
It's always
I
smooth.
think I think that just it's more in relation to the demographics that I was speaking about. So like we have obviously TikTok, that would be the younger or the trendier thing for our customers. They're
Yeah.
going to go out there and they're going to do that. But Facebook, I think, hits both. So why do you think we
Yeah.
would use Facebook?
So Facebook has become kind of like an all, how do you say, a la carte access social media platform. It kind of gives you a little bit of everything, right? So like they have a marketplace, right? They have groups. They have like you can connect just like how you can on LinkedIn. Um, Instagram is more like photos. Snapchat's obviously photos. Twitter is more like little blips of information, whereas Facebook has a ton of things that you can incorporate, right? So you can use it to post things you're selling. You can use it to connect to people via groups or via people. You can post video content on there now, um thanks to like uh social media like TikTok, like that kind of like made everyone kind of jump on that bandwagon. So you can kind of do everything at once as well of like all the social medias. That's where the older demographics generally tend to be, right? So people who would generally be the ones looking for estate sales are going to be on Facebook.
Um, well, yeah, but yes and no. So yes, for like the older guys, yeah, but I mean, the estate sale business is huge with younger people. Like even my kid who's 15, he's like, totally into thrifting and estate sales, and he loves all that stuff. It's trendy. It's a trendy thing that
Yeah.
people are doing. So as a customer, I mean, to go and stuff like that. For Facebook, they've also added Threads, which is basically their version of TikTok, and Instagram Shorts and Reels and what all that stuff, right? YouTube Shorts. But they've gotten, and it's a little smaller. I mean, it's a lot smaller than TikTok, but it's growing, and we're on it all. So we're on TikTok, Threads, X, which was Twitter, obviously, um, Instagram. We don't do Snapchat 'cause that's more of a personal thing. That's like, me sending you a picture, whatever, but we're not on that. We're on YouTube,
I think we
obviously, if
should
you're
get on
watching this.
Snapchat. I think we're growing
Okay.
business on Snapchat for sure,
Okay,
for sure.
great. You can handle that part of the business. And then is there anything else that I'm missing? I don't know. But you
You
touched upon
touched
the
on
group.
TikTok.
So what?
You touched on TikTok, right?
I believe so. I mean, that's our most successful so far in terms of followers. So, it's just there's just more people there, But for Facebook, in terms of social media, you hit up on groups and stuff like that. So groups, we use that more as marketing. We use that more as like it's kind of less fun, I guess we could say. It's more like whatever the group topic is, you're kind of going there. So I'll use groups in like a yard sale group to advertise a sale. I'll use groups in like a um in advertising, or like it's like a peer group or whatever it is for small businesses, things like that. I'll use that to ask questions to other small groups and get their involvement, that kind of stuff. Almost a networking thing. So it just depends on what the group is, but there's just a million resources, like Josh said, with Facebook. It's the younger people like to joke around about Facebook, but I can tell you for sure it's not dead. We've
Yeah,
gotten a lot of business from Facebook. We've met clients through Facebook. We've done a lot of things because of Facebook. So if you have a business and you think that Facebook is dying, it's not. Especially if you're an estate sale company and you want to hit like the older demographic. In terms of, like I said, we've met clients through Facebook, so not just customers, where people see us and say, hey, I could use that service, and then they reach out. Those people are still on Facebook. And then our Facebook group, I mean, our own Facebook page has followers and things like that on there that get notified when we have estate sales, and when we make posts, they comment and things like that. So it's been a great resource for us, even if it's not necessarily looked on by the younger folks, as like the cool thing or the trendy thing anymore. It's still very viable, in my opinion.
It's the only one I know how to use.
That's good. I mean, learning how to use them can be tricky, I would think, but I've been doing it for a while now. At first, like, me, I'm an old guy. We talked about that a little bit on the last podcast. I'm
Very
sitting
old,
here,
yes.
I'm a big boy with a big gray beard on TikTok, so like I don't do quirky, funny, stupid kid things, like, so I don't try to be younger than I am, but I
Hmm.
do try to, like, put like our funny stuff out there and things like that. Like it's a different audience, I just don't want it to ever feel like creepy old guy messing, in like the kid situation. Like we stay true to our brand, and
Yeah. I think with us, like our brand is us, right? Like we don't need to like pretend that we're somebody else or something else. Like
yeah,
people are generally like they find you and I funny enough by ourselves, like when we do our own thing. Um, I don't really want to see you out there doing like the floss while you're talking about estate sales.
right.
Although if you want to do it on the podcast,
No,
that might
you'll
be
never see
trendy.
me doing the floss. And by the way, the floss hasn't been relevant in years, but it's okay.
What's relevant now?
I mean, I I'm an old dude, so whatever I say is going to be laughed at anyway because it's something else, I'm sure. But like the latest biggest thing that I've seen, and it's already like a year old, is the stupid gritty. So if you're gonna do a dance, like that's the
What's the
one. My
gritty?
kids still do it. I'm not gonna do it, so it's a
What's the
dance.
gritty?
It's a dance. That's it. That's all you need to know. I'm not gonna do the
I only
dance.
do like the shoulders, or you go back and like you do the head thing. That's the only dance I can do.
That's your move. I remember it well.
Uh, I can drop it
But
low, pretty hot. But
all relevant to podcast needs.
oh, sorry, might be.
I mean, state sale needs. All right. And then that kind of transitions us to the next topic of like creating good content. Be true to yourself. Make the content that you're comfortable making. I need to do more of it. Josh needs to do some of it. Sorry, as he's drinking his coffee. But we need to put more stuff out there. So with our podcast, since we record it, we use Opus clips to create small content clips that are starting to get some traction out there. So that makes it a little bit easier for us to post some videos on like TikTok and stuff.
And then I'm in the
But
videos, so that helps.
yes, and then you're in the video. So now, like,
So,
even though a lot of the videos on TikTok are just me, now
well,
there's
I don't
some
have
more with you on there.
so to be fair, I don't have like access to the TikTok account to create videos, and I've never asked you
Well,
for that access. But you've also never given it to me, so it's your
well,
fault.
to be fair, you would never use it. A and B, all you have to do is send a video to me, and I can post it. So no matter
I
what, you haven't made a
I
video,
will
and
I will
we
get
should,
with my social media marketing coordinator,
I
Marissa
first of all, I know
G.
your
to
wife
help me.
is all about her. It's like she's all
Yeah,
over it. So
yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
have seen you on her social media when she posted on Facebook. So I'm not connected with her on TikTok or anything, but I know she has TikTok. She has got everything. But I know I've seen you come onto the screen, dance with her for a second, and walk off the screen and things like that. So you have made appearances.
yeah. It's generally my generally she'll be doing it in the background while I'm doing something really important. And she's just in the way all the time. That I had to like walk through the video to like get something because she's like doing it in the middle of the living room or the kitchen.
Yeah. Well,
Which I love so much.
I mean, it looks like you love it.
Yeah,
All right.
she's
But
funny.
besides that, besides trying to, like, be trendy or whatever, I would say to build a following with while you're creating the content, it's not just creating content. It's also interacting with other people's contents who are similar to yours. And either that means if you're in a estate sale company, you're looking at other estate sale companies and commenting on them. Good luck on the sale this weekend. Or that looks great. Like that, whatever. Ask a question if you see something on one of their videos, that kind of thing. And then if you comment and then you follow, there's a great chance that they're going to follow you back. You know, I would say don't just go out and follow everybody, because then you kind of like, you don't get the people that you're actually looking for. in response. So if someone finds a great thing at an estate sale and you think that'd be cool for them to be following you, comment on, hey, that's a great find. I haven't seen anything like that at any of the estate sales that I host. It's really cool, like whatever. And then they'll respond back to you and hopefully follow you back, and then
Yeah.
now you have a follower, and it's a real follower, and it's not somebody who are just doing like
That's,
these follow trains or anything like that. So it took me a lot of
yeah.
time just to get to 1,000,
The
but now,
follow train actually statistically hurts your growth, especially like
yeah,
if like there's services out there, like I've done like the research myself, where like you can pay to like get to like that benchmark on whatever platform you're on. Like you can pay a service to like provide you with those likes or subscribes or whatever to get you to the benchmark where you can be like advertised on, or whatever. But what that actually does is it inflates your growth, and instead of you needing the actual real traffic that you need, you don't get it. And then once you have the advertising, or you have the growth that you like think you need, it's not really there, and you fall.
yeah.
So it's better to have natural growth, and do it your way, while following the trips and ticks, ticks, nope, tricks and
That's an
tips and
outtake right
tricks.
there.
No. Tips and tricks that you see out there to help you grow. Um, but don't inflate your numbers. Don't try to impersonate other personalities, right? Like there are so many people, like there's like that YouTuber, right? And then a bunch of micro YouTubers will then try to like impersonate that person, but that's not really who they are, and people can see that. So what
Yeah.
happens is then they don't watch you, because you're just an imitation of that YouTuber or that TikToker. There's no one like George and I. There's no one like George.
Yeah, there's nobody like us for sure. I don't think that we can even capture the dynamic. You got to come to one of our sales. Like that's really because
Yeah.
it's just an organic back and forth, and there's a lot of like teasing and laughing at each other, but there's still
That yeah, one of the things
professionalism.
we've talked about is like live streaming some of our sales. So I think that's probably the next thing, depending on the environment, um, that you can kind of get to see some of that like natural back and forth, not scripted. Like
Yeah,
George sends me a script for the podcast and tells me I'm not allowed to like go off script because I might embarrass him.
not true at
Uh,
all. We
it's
have an outline of things to talk about, which we've already gone off 1,000 times, and I haven't yelled at you
that's
once.
that's not true. You've texted me and said stop going off script.
Not true. You're a liar. You're not doing a great thing for our brand. We don't lie, so stop lying.
Sorry, might be.
All right. Anyway, all right. So utilizing hashtags and trends would be the next kind of topic. So I mean, for me, I hashtag everything. At the end. I used to hate hashtags, by the way. I just thought they were the most annoying thing. But I understand now those are search terms, and if you hashtag it, someone's gonna find it. So for us, it's always the basic, estate sale. Um, estate sale finds, like for us, for this, it's podcast, it's new podcast, it's things like that. But then I always throw in, to be funny, like an existing trendy hashtag. I'll give
Hashtag.
you an
Yeah,
example.
I've seen that.
Hashtag Taylor Swift, right? Like
Go
just
T Swizzle.
just because, and then I hashtag just because afterwards. So
I love
it's
Taylor
it's kind
Swift.
of funny,
She's my favorite.
and some videos have given us lots of results. On another account that I have, that I'm not gonna say what it is here, I hashtagged LeBron James and Michael Jordan, and I got so many more views on that video because there's a school of thought out there between who the goat is, LeBron James or Michael Jordan. It's
It's
obviously
Michael
Michael
Jordan
Jordan.
for sure.
But anyway,
Andrew says
so
LeBron James is trash.
that's, I mean, he's not trash, but he's not Jordan. But anyway, but the thing is, like, I don't overdo that. I don't make it about what it's not. I do all the other hashtags, and then I do that just for kind of fun. So, uh, but for you, like, it's important to make sure that you know what the trends are. It's important for you to know what the hashtags are. So find like videos, see what they're hashtagging, that kind of thing. In TikTok specifically, when you start the hashtag, you'll start typing it, and then it'll tell you like how many hashtags there are of it. So like sometimes I'll see something, I'll think I'm doing a good hashtag, and it'll be like 422. And when you think about it, like over the scheme of things, that's really not a lot of people who've done that, right? So like I did estate sales with an S, I think, or estate sale, and it was a low number, and then I added the S, and it was a large number. So like just that kind of thing, figuring out what it is. Josh is daddying right now. That's all good. All right. And then talk about engaging with the audience, Josh.
Engaging with the audience.
Did I set you up there?
Yep, you did. I got distracted
I'm
by
sorry.
the
The child.
I don't think I'm the right person to talk about engaging with the audience. I don't
You're engaging with us with everybody right now.
yeah, the one person in Belgium.
All right,
Um,
so I'll start it, okay, and then you can pick up. So like the audience doesn't necessarily mean just who's listening, right? Like the
yeah,
audience is our demographic, right?
right.
So when you talk about like you've gone to more networking events for me than for us than I have, right? So like that's a sort of audience, right? The community is the audience. So like what do you think about that kind of thing?
Well, so one, it's definitely important to understand. So if we talk about like our social media demographic, right? Like we have to understand like what is trending and what's not trending, right? So if we post a video and it gets 0 views, right? And then we post another video that gets 10,000 views, right? We need to look and analyze that video to figure out, okay, what do we do differently in that video that engages our audience, right? Like that they want to watch. And that can be hashtags, that can be maybe there's just more personal back and forth between us, like whatever that is. And then incorporate that so that it's engaging for the people who are viewing our content. In terms of like our partners, right? That would be like our like other real like people who are realtors, lawyers, things like that, who would be giving us business. What do they need from us, right? Like if they're going to give us business, like how can we engage to help them with it? Like if they're going to help us with our business, how can we help them with their business? Is that what you're talking about?
No, that's in our
Oh,
collaboration section, but that's okay. We can jump to that.
no, no,
I
no,
just
no.
mean ladies and gentlemen, that is Josh's daughter, and she is the most adorable creature on the planet. So I don't mind hearing her. Um,
She's good. Yeah, she's good. She's playing with the
so
kitty
when we're interacting with our audience, right, we get reactions. We get them to be happy or if we're bad at it, to be upset with us or whatever. But like let's just say how about when our people are at the sales? How about that? How about when they're in the sale and we have our customers in the sale? How do you interact with our audience there?
cats. Oh, I just talked to them, right? Like the people. Like we don't try to like sell them something specific or like what are you looking for today? Like the things that you don't want to happen when you walk into a store. Especially if it's a customer who's come to a previous sale, like we're like, oh, okay, like how you doing? Like, welcome back, or it's good to see you again. Which tells them that like we remember them, like they're a person to us, they're not just a customer.
For sure. And building off of
For sure,
that,
for
if it's a repeat customer, that's the best because if you can remember any part of what they've done, you kind of bring that up. So excuse me. If you know what they bought, like let's say somebody bought a really cool Star Trek remote from us, right? And it was a good bit of money. They spent a good bit of money on it, and I would ask them the next time, hey, did you ever use it? Do you keep it in the box? Like how, like what, you know what I mean? Like just one, it's a legitimate like question I ask because I'm
question.
just a curious person, and two, like it shows them that like we appreciate them. They're not just like forgotten about as soon as they leave, and it gives them
Yeah,
value as well,
and it gives us personality as a company.
Yeah. And Josh mentioned in the beginning, we don't say like, is there anything I can help you find? You've all been into stores where people have done that. Everybody's been everywhere. Like that is the worst thing that anybody can ever ask anybody in a retail environment. And we both were leaders in a retail environment, so we typically don't ask that question.
On the sales floor, where we
Y- y-
had to train associates how to engage customers.
Right. Well, we wouldn't do that there, but we definitely don't do it now. Like we ask more questions that are open ended, which is it's like retail 101. But like, hey guys, what are some of the things that you're interested in? What are things that you like to find at estate sales? All right, guys, I'm going to jump in here really quickly and just say now's the perfect time for you guys to like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. We'd really appreciate it. It helps us grow the channel, and we thank you for your support as it is already. So again, like, subscribe, share, comment, all the good stuff, and we'll get back to what we were saying. Thanks. Bye. Okay, guys, just a little interlude there from it's going to sound a little different here on the audio of the podcast, but Josh had an issue with some overflowing water, and he had to go take care of that. So we're a couple days later, but we're going to get back into it, and you know, so we'll just move on to the next area that we were going to talk about, and that's advertising and promotions. So Josh mentioned in I think our last
Episode one.
podcast, we didn't really advertise. We've done a couple of small things, where we've be when I signed up for Yelp, I had I had a certain amount of money free ads. We used that. I did a couple other things where I might have advertised like a Facebook post, promoted a Facebook post here and there. But I mean, we haven't spent. I didn't spend any money on Yelp, and then we didn't spend. We must have spent maybe $50 on advertising the entire time we've had the company.
And that was after we used a ton of like free advertising. I would say most of our sales came from, I mean, just in general, like we utilized, because we're talking about like social media, like we used, like Facebook was where a lot of our customers had heard about our sales or like communicated with us or interacted with us was Facebook. And then I mean we used Craigslist, which isn't really social media, but
Yeah, I mean, it. I guess that would fall under the advertising. It doesn't necessarily mean paid advertising. And Craigslist is very interesting because our demographic for clients would probably use Craigslist more than our customers. But we did get a lot of older customers coming in and saying, "Hey, I found you
yeah,
on Craigslist," you know. So
yeah,
and I tried the online like there's like a Facebook Craigslist, and that never worked. Didn't get anything from that. But once I think you actually did the first Craigslist ad, and once we did that, we started getting people from that, which was surprising to me, but it
it was
worked.
surprising to you.
If you have if you're trying to consider advertising and things like that, you gotta weigh the options. As a startup company like we are, we didn't have a budget to spend, lots and lots of money on it. We were trying to keep it
As
very
low as
low.
possible. Yeah,
Yep, until we had a few sales under our belt, and we see what we can do after that. But I mean, the as far as tracking goes for it, we literally just ask people,
yeah,
where did you hear from us? Where'd you hear about us? How'd you see us? I mean, a good portion of it's even just our signs,
yeah,
just signs on the roads, leading up to the house.
yeah. That's
So
always like local traffic, though. I mean, a big bulk of our customers were from our ads that we put out on the internet. But
yeah,
Facebook
and
was probably the bigger one.
and our just connection with the customers that we already built up. We addressed it at one point earlier, but we have an email list, so on the email list we send out emails when we know what we're going to have, where we're going to have it, that kind of thing. So we get repeat customers, and then we get new customers that see us on the different posts that we make, and things like that. So it works for us. I did just change the ticker down there, so if you guys see um, on the bottom there's our email address. So if you are interested, if you live in the central Pennsylvania area and you have questions or anything like that, there's our email address. It's scrolling on the bottom. Send an email. You can also direct message us on here. Put a comment. We can reach out to you. That kind of thing. You probably don't want to leave your information on the public side of things, but there's our information right there if you want to reach out. And then Anything more that you have to say about advertising and promotions?
Um, so I mean, you kind of like mentioned like budgeting. Uh, do we set aside a budget for paid advertisements now?
Not yet.
Not yet,
Not
but we
yet.
will.
Yeah,
We will.
we will. We need things to go a little bit, get a little further along before we have that kind of revenue breakdown. I think for it. But the saying takes money to make money, so we'll have to spend a little bit of money, I'm sure. But right now, another thing we'll talk about for that advertiser really quickly is everybody talks about like estatesales.net, and it
Oh yeah,
those
we know
those
that.
sites are insanely expensive. So like looking on there, I look on there to see if there's any in where we live. There's not a lot of estate sale companies, and really nobody uses it. So us advertising on that here makes actually no sense. For us to spend hundreds of dollars a month on a service that nobody's looking at in our area, it's just not worth it for us. You might be in an area where there's lots of estate sales, lots of estate sale companies,
Like in a
and
city or something.
yeah, they use that. So I mean, even in our cities, York, Harrisburg, they don't use it.
Um,
There's kind of is what it is. But yeah, so we're on collaborations and partnerships. What do you think the benefits of collaborating with somebody is?
well, I mean, it allows you to jump onto like kind of like their followers. So people who listen to them or who are associated with them now become associated with you. So there's like that benefit, right? Um, but I think we had discovered that for estate sales, it's almost better to partner with like realtors
Hmm.
who are like contacting people or people who are contacting them about the house, versus like trying to like get like customers naturally coming to us because generally they're talking to a lawyer, they're talking to a realtor, they're not necessarily like somebody passes away and they're like, let me look up an estate sale company. That's just something that like that's information they get from somebody, and
Right.
and then they look it up or then they come to us. Um, but you have partnered with a couple realtors. Uh,
Um, well, we really have on our website we have two realtors that we've mentioned. One is your connection, one is my connection. Delinda she's going to be our guest actually next month, and probably the first week in February, and we'll be talking about some good stuff there. But she's great because she's someone who is willing to collaborate with you, not just be like, hey, yeah, I'll send people your way. Like we have meetings where we'll sit and we'll talk about different ideas of how to grow the business and how we can both utilize each other's resources. One example of that is we kind of divided up an area and we're reaching out to different groups and seeing if we can speak there. So if we can get in, then that means like if I can get in somewhere in York, I'll bring her with me, and we'll both talk. And then same thing for her, like if she can do it a little bit further west, and then that all that good stuff happens, so that's great. We need to have more of that. uh, that's actually what I'm working on this and next week. I will be going out and trying to get meetings with realtors and things like that, with realty offices, where we can get in there and be like the team that they refer because they trust us, and that just takes time, and it takes we earn that. We just got to get in there.
yeah, I'm just reading over some of this.
Yeah, we have a little outline here, folks, in case you're wondering, so we don't miss anything. But I mean, just to sound redundant, I'm sure, but collaborating with somebody is way more important than you think. And
That's
I was
networking.
listening to another, yep, networking. I was listening to another podcast of a woman who started an estate sale company like 10 or 15 years ago. And the only way she gets business now is through referrals. So she doesn't market, doesn't advertise, doesn't do any of that stuff. She has built a database of realtors, which is basically her biggest thing. Um, and they all bring her business, so that's kind of like what I'm hoping our business will be in the next 5 years, where we end up having the network of realtors who are reaching out to us every time they have a situation like this, you know. So, and then they connect you to the right people, So, you know, that's it's an invaluable thing. People are the highest commodity. They help if they're good and you trust them and they have mutual goals, things like that. Makes sense. All right. How about negative feedback?
Uh, so it's kind of like weird, like we haven't really gotten too much negative feedback, besides like customers who think that our prices sometimes are too high for things.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's that in person, you know. But I think I think any actual customer of ours would come to our sale and say that our prices are not too high. So those are like those one-offs where they're looking for, porcelain collectible dolls for 25 cents, you know. Um, so there was a Yadro doll that a customer came in wanted to buy and ended up coming back to the house after we left to try to get it from the owner, and the owner reached out to me and she was like, "Should I sell it?" And I was like, "For that price, absolutely not." They
Mhm.
just tried to undercut him and were like, but I mean, the doll was we could have sold the doll if we had the right customer. We could have sold the doll at the estate sale for, or figure, I should say. It's not really a doll, but we could have sold the figure for 150, 200 easy, and it's worth way more than that. But at an estate sale, it was it was marked correctly, and I think we actually had it marked at 100. So but these things happen.
Yeah, and we haven't really gotten any negative feedback online either. Most of the customers who have commented on anything related to Halcyon Days, it's all been positive. I'm sure it'll come. We'll get a 1-star review, or someone will comment and say George isn't friendly on Facebook, because
Yeah,
that's typically
maybe.
how that would go. Um, but I think when that happens, you have to look at the feedback and think and analyze it. Is this constructive or is it deconstructive? If it's negative just for the sake of being negative, because you're always going to have customers or people who just want to complain and they don't actually have a valid reason. And then there's people who are going to give you feedback even if it's negative, and being able to take that and turn it into a positive is where your business can either succeed or fail.
Oh yeah. I think you need to take ego out of it, right? Like if someone has something valid to say that is going to improve our business, we need to take that, we need to learn from it and make it right, you know. You don't know what you don't know. So if you're missing something and you think you've got it, to be naive enough to think you're perfect is the downfall of any business, right? If you're not willing to hear what your customers are telling you, you're done for. Um, and then you had mentioned a while ago about like the bots calling and like or Facebook messaging us about things that are available, and just like the overloading of bots. I don't know if you saw this. I don't think I talked to you about it, but we had in our Facebook page, we have messages all the time to us telling us our page is going to get shut down because of copyright issues. Like I mean, like
I get
over and over and
calls
over
from
again. But
I
it's
get calls
all
from Google.
scams. Yep. So, but it's all scams. So, like our Facebook page specifically, I get an email regularly, and I have to report it and stuff like that. It's never sent from Facebook or from Meta. Like if you just click on it, you can see like, and it's like the page was activated, the person was activated like that day or that month, and then like you can't even interact with it. It's clearly not Facebook, but they're trying to get you to click on the link. So I just
Not too bad.
keep reporting them. But we actually just got a would not recommend bot on our Facebook page. Now, we don't ask a lot of people. We don't that's not one of the things we ask for. We ask for Google reviews, but we don't ask for Facebook reviews. We don't ask for would you recommend, recommend us on Facebook. It's just not something we talk about. But we got a would not recommend, and I think we only had like three other recommends on Facebook. So it's just not a big thing for us, like I said. So I reported it, did all that, and it wasn't disappearing. So I put a message out there for followers or whatever. If you've worked with us in the past, please recommend us, help us, because I don't want people to see us on Facebook and see a low average because of that one bot. But now, like a week later, it looks like it was finally removed. So we're at a 5 out of 5 recommend. So we're back up to the top. But that stuff scares me, when you've only got a small number and one person could really mess it up, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I think like you try to have our response time for almost anything down to like an hour
Oh,
max,
less.
right?
Yeah.
So if someone reviews us on Google, someone posts on our Facebook, someone reaches out to our website, like sends us an email, and I think that has really helped with the positive feedback that we have gotten. As I
Hmm.
think there's been a couple of times where, like fast response,
Oh yeah.
which tells the customers that like we do care.
Hmm.
We don't ignore them. We don't like let their email sit in our inbox for days on days before we get around to it, even if it's on a Sunday, which is technically the day that our business is closed. Um, you and I have both responded to emails or responded to some Google reviews or whatever.
Absolutely. I think the longest I've ever taken is if we've gotten a review while I was at like my kid's basketball game.
Yeah.
Any other time, I'll see it come through on my phone and I'll respond right away.
Or
You know.
you'll text,
Uh,
yeah, or you'll shoot me a text, or I'll shoot you a text because to let you know, like,
yeah.
hey, I'm not able to respond to that.
Yep. Same thing with emails. We try to get to them as fast as possible. Yeah. So,
We
I
did
think.
get in person negative, or it was negative, but it was constructive feedback, and it was about the pictures that we were taking. It was like it was that lady who owned the antique shop, and
Hmm.
she had posted stuff, and she had showed us some of her pictures, and it was good feedback. Obviously it's kind of hard to like stage stuff and take a picture when it's like natural in the home,
Hmm.
but I think we took that advice and try to utilize it a little bit in the following posts and following sales and stuff.
Yeah, that's tough because one, we don't want to invalidate what the customer's saying, because obviously, like, if we had a marketplace and we were selling these things as like a storefront, the images would look different. But you can't take all these items, like, you have to take the pictures of them in the home. The lighting is what the lighting is, that kind of stuff. You can't
Yeah,
necessarily control all of that stuff.
we're not gonna spend money on like getting equipment to take pictures. We're not
Yeah.
there yet.
No, I mean, it's our pictures are done by our phone. But I mean, I don't think we take bad pictures, but I understand what she was saying. Like, if we're trying to advertise an item, we want to showcase it, which I completely understand, because I was a reseller before this, and I have lots of things listed on eBay, and I have a nice my desk. I actually have like a sheet kind of over it with a whole white background. I have different lighting for it. I take different angles, that kind of stuff. I understand what a picture has to look like to be presentable, but at the same time, we're limited to the house of the light, and that kind of stuff. So if you're watching this and you have an estate sale background or even a business background, um, you heard some of the stuff that we said. Like, now would be a good time for you to comment on there, things that you agree with, things you didn't like, things that you think we could change, that kind of stuff. Give us some feedback. Tell us what you thought about it, and
You'd
we'll
like to
we'll take
guest
that.
guest on our podcast, feel free to reach out to us.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. We'll be sending things out. That'll be soon. I think I just wanted to get this thing a little smooth before we start having guests, so we know what the heck we're even doing. But you know, you got anything else you want to add?
Not when it comes to our I guess our outline here.
I mean, for the whole podcast. No.
No.
Our endings are smooth as butter. We we always have
For
it
sure.
perfect, So again, thank you for staying with us. Little bumpy in the middle there, but Josh, I'm glad your stuff is under control and you don't have like a massive flood in your house or anything like that. So I'm glad you got it
Yeah,
all taken care
having a massive flood would not be tight.
of. Tight, no.
So, thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Listen to us anywhere where you listen to your podcasts.
Peace out.